Hello everyone, it's Scott Ryan from the Blue Rose magazine with another glorious ad. Isn't that what we really like from podcasts? Ads. Oh, I suppose we could listen to Emily interview someone about their Twin Peaks tattoo, but instead, why not think about picking up an issue of the Blue Rose magazine? Read about David Lynch, Mark Frost, and Twin Peaks, maybe an interview with Sabrina Sutherland. Lots of good things out there. Pick up a book while you're there. Courtney Stallings' Laura's Ghosts, or The Women of Lynch, Conversations with Mark Frost, or Firewalk with Me, Your Laura Disappeared, which I heard is such a great book. It's even better than a Twin Peaks tattoo, which seems crazy to me. And last month there was some confusion about tattooing the cover of the Blue Rose on you. You don't get a discount for that. What you get is to be a walking ad for the Blue Rose. Go to bluerosemag.com.
I'm Emily Marinelli, and you're listening to the Twin Peaks Tattoo Podcast. I'm a professor of psychology, a psychotherapist, a writer on 25 Years Later website, and a huge Twin Peaks fan. I'm not a tattoo artist or tattoo expert by any means, but I'm a tattoo enthusiast and wanted to make a podcast combining two things I love the most. Each episode of the Twin Peaks Tattoo Podcast interviews someone about their Twin Peaks tattoo and explores what their ink means to them. Thanks for joining. As a kid growing up in a working class family in Oklahoma in the 80s and 90s, TV shows and pop culture were my babysitters, my caretakers, while my single mom was working long days. I felt safe watching cartoons, sitcoms, musicals, comedies. They were predictable. I wanted to take the shows with me wherever I went, carry the characters in my arms, relive the magic, the safety, the comfort. At night, I curled up with my Rainbow Bright plush doll, her red yarn hair getting caught and frayed each time I attempted to brush it. Her silver and rainbow skirt, the coolest, galactically hip suggestion of her superpower. She was strong and liberated the sprites from the drab black and white world of shadows, making everything colorful again. If I could just hold her, I could be close to her and take in her world of color and wonder. I could be transported. I had all the Jim and the Hologram dolls, including the sinister Misfits, and would stage sing-offs between the bands. It was no small feat making sure each badass rocker chick got their own guitar and singing solo. This was hard work, and I was an only child. Synergy, I would yell to the imaginary crowd as Jim's earrings lit up by pressing the button on her back. I had a talk boy from Home Alone. I sneakily hid behind the living room couch and recorded my cousins, aunt, and mom talking. I was being a Kevin McAllister little shit. When they least expected it, I would play back their conversations in slow motion and then at high chipmunk speed. We all laughed until we damn near peed our pants. I really loved Lady Lovely Locks and would live in her kingdom through color forms. Remember color forms? I made colorform landscapes with her and Maiden Fairhair as they defended the realm from the evil Duchess Ravenwaves. I also sported my Lady Lovely Locks pixie tail character clips in my hair. Pink, purple, and blue plastic rodents with tails would emerge from my crimped brown pigtails. And then there were the My Little Ponies. Now these were the OG ones, way before Netflix made Friendship is Magic. These were the Saturday morning cartoon ponies that I loved so much. I had a My Little Pony lunchbox that held my very nutritious lunch, PB&J on Wonder Bread, an apple, a Squeeze-It, a Ziploc bag full of cheese balls, and the My Little Pony matching thermos warmed my Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Gobstoppers topped off the lunch meal and I was set. I owned maybe 20 My Little Ponies, many of them hand-me-downs with marker marks on them and other gross sticky gobs matting the pony hair. They all fit in a carrying case that was made to look like a stable. I carried them around everywhere, to the store, to my friends' houses, to family gatherings, to dance class, my traveling suitcase of plastic ponies. One day, I made the bold choice to take them to school, the whole stable. Sadly, it didn't fit in my locker, and my mom had already left after dropping me off. So I was stuck carrying them around all day and got strange looks from teachers and my classmates. I didn't care. The ponies gave me the courage to make it through my school day. They gave me protection, joy, and distraction. These objects I could count on. They got me through boring teachers, mean kids in the hallway, and being away from what I love the most. They connected me back to the show that made me feel safe. These transitional objects were a lifeline. The concept of transitional objects comes from Winnicott, who is a therapist who worked with kids. In his work, he discovered that as kids reach milestones in their growth, they need a link between a parent or a caretaker to the big, scary outside world. In this way, objects can help children soothe the anxiety that happens when they're separated from their parents. So, transitional objects like blankets or pacifiers or My Little Ponies symbolically replace the primary caretaker and provide a link between the caretaker and the outside world. I felt safe at home with my mom and my ponies on the screen. So if they could leap off the screen and into my portable stable, onto my lunchbox and thermos, I can take that sense of comfort with me wherever I am. If I can play with my dolls, my talk boy, and my color forms, and sleep in my strawberry shortcake nightgown, the world of pop culture objects can travel with me and help protect me in the big, scary outside world. Think back to when you were a kid. What were some of your transitional objects? What are some of your transitional objects now? How do they make you feel safe? How do they bring you joy? As an adult, I have plenty of transitional objects. And as a huge Twin Peaks fan, like many of you listening, I have my own version of my Little Ponies in a stable that connect me to the comfort of the Lynch Frost world. These include things like my Twin Peaks framed artwork, lots of Twin Peaks books, wearing my Double R Diner shirt as I teach a class on Twin Peaks and depth psychology, listening to Twin Peaks podcasts, and even making my own. In this month's episode of the Twin Peaks Tattoo Podcast, Vinnie and I discuss the importance of transitional objects in Twin Peaks. As an avid Twin Peaks prop collector, Vinnie shares his intricate work and what draws him to these specific objects from the show. We discuss how tattoos themselves can be transitional objects. And of course, we talk about his awesome Twin Peaks tattoo. Vinnie Guidera is an artist, musician, and Twin Peaks superfan. He researches and collects props from his show and writes about them on his @12rainbowtrout Instagram page. He has also written regularly for TwinPeaksBlog.com and contributed to the Blue Rose magazine. Before we begin, a quick shout out to our friend Jason Matson, who is also an incredible Twin Peaks prop collector. I first wrote about transitional objects through interviewing him about his work, and you can find that article, Transitional Objects in Twin Peaks, an interview with fan collector Jason Matson, on 25YL, aka TV Obsessive website, and I'll put it in the show notes too. And now, here's Vinnie. Yay, Vinnie. Okay, so tell me, how did Twin Peaks come into your life?
I was introduced to David Lynch in general through a coworker. I was working at the bookstore at my college in probably about 2010, and she introduced me to Blue Velvet first, and then Mulholland Drive. And I think we were planning on kind of watching through David Lynch's filmography, but that's when I kind of had to speed it along. And I was also working at a record and video store at the same time. So I went to work and special ordered everything that was still in print. So I bought the Twin Peaks Gold box at Sight Unseen and binged it in a weekend.
You did. Were you by yourself? Did you have
Yeah.
anyone watching with you? You just did the
No,
whole thing on your
no.
own in a weekend.
After I saw Mulholland Drive, I was like, okay, I need all of this, and I need it quickly. So, yeah, I remember my cousin, when the Gold Box set had first come out, I remember my cousin asked for it for Christmas. So that was like the only time I'd heard about Twin Peaks was her getting the Gold Box set when it came out. Um, but I knew nothing, and 2 days later, I was
You knew everything,
yeah.
or still knew nothing,
Well,
as it were.
I don't think I know everything even a decade later.
And then did you also watch Fire Walk with Me then, or when was that?
I watched Firewalk with Me a little bit later because I think at that point the DVD was out of print. So the gold box set was still available to order in my work's uh, I guess inventory, but Firewalk with Me I had to wait until a used copy came into one of the stores. So I think maybe a month or so went by before I got to see that.
A used DVD copy? Is that what
Hmm.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then how would you describe your relationship to Twin Peaks when you first saw it then versus where you are now with the show?
At first, I think I was drawn in mostly just by the kind of quirky comfort of it all. And, the mist in the trees and the odd characters. Um, and I think my relationship with it has evolved and gotten a little bit more complicated, but probably more fulfilling over the years. Um, I think spending more time with the show and kind of getting to know the fan community and um, reading some of the things that some people in the fan community have written, like Courtney Stallings' book Laura's Ghost, just shifted my perspective so much, and I kind of realized that appreciating Twin Peaks as like a quirky comfort show is a position of privilege in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a world of people who identify with the traumatic aspect of it that just didn't even occur to me when I first watched it, because there's so many facets to the show, and it's so easy to just pick the one that you enjoy the most. So over the years, I've come to appreciate that aspect of it, and maybe come to it with more empathy than from an entertainment angle.
Thanks for saying that. And Courtney's book is just, I mean, it's like incredible. I think everybody who's ever seen the show should read Laura's Ghost and really understand it from that perspective. So thanks for sharing it.
Yeah.
And, you're an incredible prop collector and also artist and musician. You're all the things, Vinnie. But tell me a little bit about what being a Twin Peaks prop collector means for you.
When you spend a lot of time with a particular piece of media, you either get burnt out or you find new ways to appreciate it. And I got burnt out really quickly with the kind of fan theory aspect of Twin Peaks fandom, because everyone has their opinions, and none of that's ever going to get confirmed or denied. So I find that to be a little bit tedious after years and years of enjoying the show. So for me, the kind of evergreen thing that I can always find a new tidbit to appreciate is just the sets and the props and all of the kind of tangible things that that flesh the fictional world out, and kind of the ways that those little things tie it to reality outside of the show. Yeah. So like, you have the prop department making aesthetic choices and filling the sets with these mid-century pieces that are really, really cool, and create this specific atmosphere. But like, also you're like, hey, my grandma had that, and and like so much of that was just like antique stuff that people collect and that's out there and available to find if you know what to look for. So that's kind of been my way to continue appreciating the show, and um, keep finding something new to enjoy about it.
Oh, very cool. And I love how you can just hold on to the tangible object. You can have it
Yeah.
in your house. You can put it there. You can look at it. It reminds you of that particular scene or that moment in the show. Something that's like, kind of I've written about like a transitional object that brings you, transitions you from the show to the real world and back.
Yeah. And that was my introduction to you. You had written that article where you interviewed my friend Jason Matson about his prop replicas as transitional objects, which was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. And I love all the ones that I've seen on your social media that you've found. Tell me, what's your process for how do you find these relics?
I've gotten really good at Googling, and I think the fun challenge of it all is that so much of it is stuff that I wouldn't normally be interested in. Yesterday I wrote about the Log Lady's tea set that she uses in the introductions that were filmed for Bravo. And I don't know anything about vintage china. And so it seemed insurmountable to like track down this specific floral pattern china, because I'm like, okay, I'm describing every tea set that's ever existed. And then, you spend an hour Googling and you find like, okay, this looks to be the right style. Maybe it's the same manufacturer, but the print is different. And so you go down the manufacturer rabbit hole and find their different designs, or maybe you can narrow it down by like, okay, they made stuff that looked kind of like this in a specific era. So yeah, it's just following. You start with like a very small piece of information or just like a visual description, and then you follow that to like a tangible lead. And sometimes that goes nowhere, and sometimes you're just like, oh my God, how did I actually find this? So yeah, it turns out that teapot is super common, and probably anybody that has ever had a tea set would be able to tell me that. But, it's so far out of my wheelhouse that it felt like a huge victory.
Totally. Well, and it's a fun search, right? It's a whole process that you go through to then get to this. And then once you find the things, Vinnie, are they just like hanging out around your house? Do you have a special place that what happens?
I have one gigantic shelf where I keep a lot of my replicas. It's like, the rectangular IKEA record shelves. Mm-hmm. It's one of those big ones, and the whole top is just covered with Twin Peaks prop replicas. And then the tough ones are the ones that would have to be hung on a wall or take up cabinet space in the kitchen, because I have a finite amount of space for those things. So I have to kind of decide, like, one of the things I tracked down a couple of years ago was a piece of art that hangs in Evelyn Marsh's house. And I'm like, it's huge. It's like, like 3 feet by 2 feet or something. I'm like, do I really want to dedicate this much wall space to an Evelyn Marsh deep cut? And the answer is yes, but I grappled with it.
Wow, that's awesome. So you just have this. What's the picture of?
It's a painting of like a fox hunt scene. So it's men in red coats on horseback preparing for the hunt, I guess. It was painted by Haywood Hardy, who apparently was, which I found going down these rabbit holes, he was commissioned by the wealthy to paint animal portraits a lot of the time, or like equestrian scenes. So it makes sense that it would be in the Marsh mansion, and I really like that there's that level of depth to the process from the prop department, whether it was deliberate or not.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it adds another layer to the scenery of the show, and now to my house.
That's fantastic. I just love thinking about all these things in your house. Jason, when we were talking before, told me about the and directed me to the article you wrote about, excuse me, all the kind of dog
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's in the Johnson house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then he showed me about the dachshund platter and told me that you had found the dachshund like platter. And then he found it on eBay and sent it to me. So now anyway, it just arrived the other day. So now I
Oh,
have
that's
this.
awesome.
I didn't realize how big it is.
Yeah, it's
It's like a
clunky.
big platter. And so
Yeah.
now I'm like, gosh, how am I going to really hang this on the wall? Like, I don't.
I'll have to send you a link. I found this kind of like A-shaped hanging thing with these little bars that it kind of rests on, and I have
Perfect.
it on the wall in my kitchen.
You do?
And it's pretty heavy duty, but that thing weighs like 20 pounds.
It's really, really big. I don't know what to do with. I just have it sitting on top of my dresser right now. Like I don't know what to do. So thank you. Yes, please send me that link. I need help with that. What are some of your favorite props you've discovered?
Maybe the most satisfying that I absolutely never expected to have any success with, the party hats from the Johnson house, when they bring Leo home and he ends up with cake all over his face. So there are 3 different party hats in that scene, and I did not expect to find any of them, but I decided to at least try to find Leo's because it's so distinct.
Yeah.
And I'll usually search on eBay first because a lot of the stuff is vintage, and if it's anywhere, it's going to be somebody, clearing out stuff from an estate sale or whatever. And anything worthless with the word vintage in front of it finds its way to eBay. But I didn't find anything there, and then I went to Etsy and literally just typed vintage party hat, and the first thing that came up was just like a collection of vintage paper party hats, and that was one of them.
No
And
way.
it was
So
just
fast.
a total fluke. And so like none of the manufacturer info was even listed on Etsy, and I didn't find that out until I got the package in the mail. So then, once it got here, I saw the little copyright on the side that the Beastal Company made it. And like, I'm looking through the rest of this variety pack collection of old party hats, and it wasn't even in the listing, but Shelley's hat from that scene was also in the package.
No, that's amazing.
And it turns out it was made by the same company. So yeah, total fluke. But yeah, that was one I just never expected to actually find, and it turns out it was.
You got both.
Yeah. I never did end up finding Bobby's yet, so I don't think Bobby's was made by the same company, but that's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, is there any other like big items that you really want that you haven't been able to find yet?
There's a never-ending list.
That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it compelling.
I have probably like 50 eBay alerts set in case anything matching something close to the description ever gets listed. But yeah, mostly deep cuts that will probably never turn up.
Is it true? Did I see online that you have Nadine's like machine?
I do. I have Nadine's original rowing machine, which was I don't have too many original props. That was one of the first I ended up with. Someone had listed it on Craigslist, and it was 400 miles away from me, but a friend who knew I was in the same state alerted me to that, and I contacted the guy immediately and drove down and picked it up about a year ago. his name was John Root. He was super nice. He bought it at the prop auction in 1991 after the show ended.
Wow.
And it had been in his garage for 30 years. And I think he was in the process of like converting the garage into like an in-law quarters. So he was clearing it out, and so I I drove like 400 miles to pick it up, and now it hangs above my fireplace.
Yeah, I love that you have it hanging, and just how random that it would just be like on Craigslist. That just, it's hard for my brain to.
I don't think he's really on social media, so I don't think he really knew that there was like a fan community that would swoop on that in a heartbeat, which worked out to my advantage because I'm sure there are thousands of people in LA that could have picked it up the same day.
Totally.
But yeah.
That's what a find. What a special thing to have.
I had a plaque made that I hung with it. It's got a picture from the show of Nadine bending the arms back, and it has a little engraved gold plate at the bottom that says, "Ed, you make me sick."
That's perfect. That's amazing, Vinny. That's so dope. Well, let's talk about tattoos. Tell me what Twin Peaks tattoo or tattoos that you have and what it looks like. Are they color? Are they black and gray? What style? Tell me all the things.
It's very simple. I only have one Twin Peaks tattoo. It is the mark that the log lady gets when she disappears in the woods. So in season 2, after Major Briggs comes back, returns from his disappearance, he reveals that he's got this mysterious mark behind his ear. And he and the log lady meet with Agent Cooper to detail their experiences. And she reveals this kind of burn type scar, maybe, on the back of her knee. That's the two peaks joined together that Cooper then draws on the chalkboard. So I have it in the spot that the log lady has it, in the color that the log lady has it. It's pretty straightforward. Not really any artistic variation there, but it's, to me, it's, you'd mentioned the idea of transitional objects, and I think for me this kind of fits in the same category, where it's not an artistic take on something, it's something from the show that kind of crosses the line into our world.
Yeah, beautifully said. And you said, so back of the knee, is that where the placement is?
Mm-hmm. It's on my right calf, just below the knee, basically.
That seems like was that a little bit pain? I guess it's just some lines, so it's not too intensive, but was that a little bit painful?
It's filled in. It's not line work, but it's below the fold, so not in that spot that's gonna tear open every time you take a step. I have another tattoo that's very close to my elbow bends.
That's by your ditch. That's by your ditch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I have vivid memories when this was healing of reaching to turn my alarm clock off in the morning and just tearing that open as a fresh wound every day. So, luckily, the one on the back of my leg is a little bit farther away, and it doesn't do that, or didn't do that, rather.
You talked a little bit about the piece as a transitional object. Anything else you want to say about how it feels to wear a Twin Peaks tattoo, how it connects you to the world?
I think this specific tattoo kind of connects me more to my experience with the fan community more than the show itself. I got it in 2016 with two of my friends that I met up in Washington at a fan event, Anita and Amber. Anita lives about a half hour from me, which is funny because we met 13 hours from where either of us live. So Amber was passing through town. She lives out of state, and we all got the same tattoo together in 2016. So yeah, it's I guess it's a friendship tattoo, but it's, it's, we all met through Twin Peaks, and continue to appreciate it. So
I was just like, thanks for sharing that. I feel like that's such the power of the show, is finding community. I feel like that's one of the biggest things, and having a shared tattoo in the community is like so sweet. I just love that. I love friendship tattoos.
It's super simple, but it was a fun experience to share. And realistically, we were all going to end up with Twin Peaks tattoos anyway.
Matter of time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Has anyone asked you any annoying questions about your Twin Peaks tattoo or other tattoos that you might have?
Not my Twin Peaks tattoo. It's pretty simple, so it's not really a conversation starter. It's also on my leg, and I'm a pants guy, so
pants guy.
It spends most of the year covered up. But in California, it gets unbearably hot, so that's a ticking clock before I break out the shorts. But yeah, it's not really a conversation starter. I do get some annoying questions about the one on my arm that I had mentioned. It's the moon from the cover of the Nick Drake album, Pink Moon. And the album art is kind of surrealist. There's like a moon with a slice of cheese in it, and there's like a anthropomorphized teacup. There's a lot going on, and there's like a couple of craters, and I always get asked if it's a bowling ball, and it is not a bowling ball. I would not get a tattoo of a bowling ball.
Oh, goodness. What people ask sometimes, or what they say. It's so funny. Are there any questions you would like to be asked about your Twin Peaks tattoo or your Nick Drake tattoo?
No. I don't like to be grilled in general. So no, I like that people don't ask me too many questions in general. Mm-hmm. This conversation aside.
I like it when there's other fans who see one of my Twin Peaks tattoos and have that immediate sort of tracking, and then ask me questions that are like Twin Peaks questions. I feel excited about that, but I get a lot of annoying tattoo questions.
So I know you have Waldo with the poker chip, right?
Yeah, I have Waldo. Yeah, I have Waldo with the poker chip, and I have this picture with "Look Nice on Your Wall" and sycamore tree rings with the curtains, red curtains on my feet. I have those on my feet, which was really spicy. Speaking of spicy spots.
Yeah.
And then I have a blue rose, and then I have last year I got a corn, like just a tattoo of corn by this artist who does American traditional stuff, and then he did it, and it looks so good. He's so talented, and it's a gorgeous piece of corn. And then I was like, this is just kind of too, I said, it's kind of too normal, which is so funny, because is it normal to get a tattoo of corn? I don't really know. But then I was like, can you make little popcorn kernels coming out of it? So we made a couple popcorn kernels, and then made it funny in some sort of way. So that's my current landscape of Twin Peaks tattoos. But I always want more. I mean, I always want more.
There's no shortage of ideas.
There's no shortage.
Yeah, I would imagine some of yours invite a little bit more conversation than mine.
Yeah, well, and just all the other ones I have, I'm getting pretty covered. I did just get, it's not so visible because it's kind of my upper left thigh, but I did just get a tattoo of a member of the animatronic band from Chuck E. Cheese. So I'm like, and so I'm curious to see what that will bring, what people might say about that. Like, I would love it if somebody was like, is that Mitzi from Rocket fire explosion. Like if someone said that to me, I would be like, "You're my friend. Let's be friends."
I think it's destined to spark some sort of like Vietnam flashback of like the disgusting ball pit.
Totally. And just like how terrifying it really was for children. I mean, like the curtain would come. Did you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Did you go there when you okay? Like the curtain would go back and then it was these big things that would clank, it would playing the whatever 5 or 10 minute song sequence, and then it would close again. It was like terrifying for children, but I loved it. I always loved the performance.
Well, on my other leg, I have a tattoo of a member of the Cantina band from Star Wars. So,
oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm all for non-human fictional musician tattoos.
Yes, you get it, Vinnie. You get it. What Twin Peaks tattoo might you like to get in the future, if any? Speaking of future tattoos.
I've thought about getting Major Briggs' mark that he has behind his ear with the 3 triangles, just to kind of, I guess, complete the set. It's, again, not really a conversation starter, but, it's personal to me without taking up too much real estate.
Mm-hmm. Ever think about getting one of the props that you have found or that resonates for you?
I don't know. I haven't really considered that. I don't know. I've come to the realization that like every one of my tattoos is tied to a piece of media, and my inclination is to kind of steer away from that. So I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. I don't want to overdo it in that vein, I guess.
You want to take a little detour, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a minute there, every tattoo that I got was sort of circular, and I didn't notice until afterward. And I'm like, I gotta steer clear of the circles. And now I'm like, I gotta steer clear of the TV and movie tattoos.
Yeah, that's cool. Any character on Twin Peaks that you would like to see have a tattoo?
Okay, so I was thinking about this because it's in the same vein as the Log Lady and Major Briggs.
Yeah.
So I'm not especially married to Mark Frost's books, but I do like the detail that Carl Rod had also disappeared in the woods with the Log Lady, and I think the book mentions that he returned with a similar mark, but it doesn't specify what. So I would like to see if Carl Rod has like the quote unquote tattoo scar thing. I would like to see what that is.
Nice. Good answer. I really like that.
But I have to get this off my chest. It drives me insane that in the book, when it details the Log Lady's mark, which I have permanently on my body, the book gets the detail wrong. And in the medical report, in the Margaret's file from when she gets the once over from the doctor when she returns, there's a little diagram of the mark that she got, and it's Major Briggs' mark. It's not the Log Lady's.
Oh, so, no.
I have a bone to pick with Mark Frost.
Yeah. Wait, and can you describe the differences so we can track? I don't know if people remember season 2, sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
They just space that out. Okay.
Yeah. So Major Briggs has behind his ear, it's 3 triangles in like a circular formation, it might be similar to the like radioactive symbol. And then the Log Lady's is 2 mountains that are attached on her calf right below her knee. So
So
They're
hers is
very
like part of it, but not, but his has an extra sort of.
well, no. So it's it's very frustrating. They're just distinctly different marks,
Oh,
and they get mixed up in the book.
mm.
Um, but another kind of, I mean, when you get too deep into the fandom, these things can drive you crazy. But uh, there's a plot point that leads uh, Cooper to Owl Cave, where he's supposedly combined these two symbols as he's doodling on a napkin. But that doodle on the napkin is not a combination of those two symbols. It's
Love this.
not. The triangles that get added, it's not triangles that get added, it's diamond shapes. So it's not Major Briggs' mark that he's adding to the log ladies. So
We're going to write some strongly worded letters about these inaccuracies, Vinnie.
yeah, well, I'm also a Mystery Science Theater fan, so I should take that advice, that it's just a show and I should really just relax.
I love that you just referenced MST3K. There's another person I interviewed for this podcast who found Twin Peaks actually through MST3K, because it's actually referenced at least in a couple of different episodes and different over the years.
So getting ready for this, I went back through my old Facebook posts because I was trying to figure out when I got this tattoo, and I found something that I posted like, I don't know, in like 2014 or something, about how excited I was that the episode of Mystery Science Theater I was watching referenced Laura Palmer's theme.
Do you remember which one it was?
I can't remember. I want to say it might have been Pod People or something.
Yeah, Pod People does it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few. I think it was in the zeitgeist, and it was like one of those cultural references that I did not understand when I watched that past my bedtime on Comedy Central growing up.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So yeah, that's one of the shows that's gotten more rewarding as I've gotten older.
I know every time I rewatch like a MST3K episode, I catch more and more things that now I understand. Yeah, it has different cultural meanings for me. I love that MST3K Twin Peaks crossover keeps happening in different ways. Makes me so happy. And Pop People, I know it's like a fan favorite, but it probably is. That and Ega are probably my favorite episodes. Okay. Maybe I Accuse My Parents. I like that one too.
I know I Accuse My Parents is Joel's favorite episode.
Oh, interesting.
But I think my favorites are probably The Bloodwaters of Dr. Z and Werewolf. Definitely Werewolf.
Yeah.
Basically,
that's a good one.
Any episode with Joe Estevez is top notch.
Nice. Okay, if and when there's a season 4 of Twin Peaks, which of course there will be, what character, either existing or new, would you want to play?
I don't think I have any choice but to play a woodsman.
Yes.
There's not really any wiggle room. I mean, I think they were described as dirty bearded men, and for better or worse, I fit the bill. So I guess I'm a woodsman.
You're so a woodsman. I love that answer. That's so great. That's so great. You're also a performer. Tell us about your band. How could we find you? Tell us about your art.
Okay. I play in a band called Vinnie Guidera and the Dead Birds. We play indie rock in Sacramento, California. We haven't really been gigging for the last couple years because there's been a worldwide pandemic, and that seemed like a terrible idea. Early in the pandemic, we started doing these kind of remote live videos where we would each film our part of a song and kind of put them together for like a split screen video. And that kind of got us by for a while before it became tedious. So now we've been kind of focusing on writing, and we have our first live show in 2.5 years this coming Friday. So,
oh my gosh, how exciting!
Yeah, we probably won't be playing out as much as we would like still, but we figured we'd test the waters, get back into it.
Yeah, definitely. It's summer. People are ready to go and see music and do it safely, all that stuff. So that's fantastic.
We'll see if I can reasonably sing in an N95.
Is it going to be indoors?
Yeah, the venue's super cool. They've been very proactive with COVID precautions, so I feel a little bit better about it. They're requiring vaccinations and negative tests, so it's still terrifying to get out there as cases are on the rise again, but gonna be as safe as we can about it.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Vinnie. This has been magical to talk to you about all things Twin Peaks, tattoos, props, magic, all of it. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Appreciate all of your time and what you've shared. And I know everybody listening will definitely want to check out on your social media all the incredible TP props that you have found and that you are collecting. And there's a specific whole genre of Christmas props too that I specifically, as a Christmas enthusiast, really, really love. So you want to check that out for sure, everybody.
There is an inordinate amount of Christmas props for a show that takes place in late February. But yeah, for anybody that wants to follow along, I write about everything on Instagram, and the handle is 12 Rainbow Trout. And then there's sort of a back catalog of longer articles that I've written for TwinPeaksBlog.com, which has kind of been on hold as Stephen, who runs the site, has been busy with work and other projects. So hopefully we'll get back to that sometime soon. But there's a great body of work there, and Stephen is one of the people that kind of inspired me to dig deep into it and kind of build up my collection. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Vinnie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Twin Peaks Tattoo Podcast. Each episode is produced by me, Emily Marinelli. Sound design and theme music by Dr. Animal Proof Rock. For more information on today's episode, go to my website, www.twinpeakstattoopodcast.com.